You're in the clouds. Are we going to talk about the Emiru stuff? Of course we are. You know who I am. There's no way we weren't going to talk about this. You know me. You knew that was coming. So a little background before we dive into it. If you guys don't know who Emiru is, you might have heard of her at least recently within the last like couple of months, because during TwitchCon, she was like assaulted by someone. And then afterwards, the whole thing with her and Ms. Kev, they're talking about their relationship and how she's like has an order against him and how he's been abusive. Like that's what she's been kind of known for now. And then now what's happening is someone in her chat asked her this. We're gonna work backwards though a little bit, okay? We're gonna unravel things the way I unraveled it when I first saw it. So first, this is sort of the inciting post, I would say. I mean, 21 million views, 50K likes, 2,000 comments. So this was the account that I saw it on. Just throw away whoever, right? Emiru's asked her thoughts on ice. If you need a streamer who doesn't eat, okay, we'll just play it. We'll just play it. We would just play it.
Like, there's a certain extent where I'm like, okay, sure, I get people wanting big content creators to like say their opinions on like important topics. I get that, right?
Which is strange to me because content creators sharing their opinions on topics is a strange concept, right? Me personally, I would never do that.
But it's like, if you need a streamer who doesn't even know anything about politics to tell you about politics, you probably just need to like get off the internet. Like, just stop. Like hello? Like, I don't like what? Like, how am I gonna? I don't know. Get help. Like, even like, I don't know. Like, obviously, I don't like dislike any of the political streamers except for like some of like the really bad ones. I don't really like them. But it's like,
I know it sounds normal. We'll get to it.
I don't understand how in the first place people care so much what they say. I guess it's because they just have a lot of reach or influence, but it's like, why are you listening to them in the first place? I don't know.
Okay, so on its surface, that sounds innocent enough, right? It's, hey, why are you looking towards content creators for validation, right? Why are you looking for them towards your political opinions? Which in that instance, I do agree. I do think that while influencers, content creators can put you in one direction or the other, that ultimately you shouldn't be relying on other people for their information, only relying on them. Go do your own research, get a wide breadth of knowledge before you make your opinions. I get that. However, if we go back to the beginning, this is what we ask, right?
Like, there's a certain extent.
Thoughts on ice. Now, here's the fun part. The person who asked her was a mod, and not just any mod, her mod, who also mods for Asmongold, right? So this is the mod. You can tell because they have the mod symbol here on Twitch. That's what this means. Ali Kitty. So what are your thoughts on Ice Hassanet at Emiru? It's so dumb. Like, what does a streamer saying fuck Ice validate? It makes no sense. So then once you start looking at it from a different lens, which is no one actually brought this up besides her own mod. And if you're a content creator, if you're a Twitch streamer or streamer in general, you can quite simply ignore a question. I don't get that many chatters in my streams, but there's even some stuff I miss and ignore. She has much, much larger audience than I have, right? She might have hundreds, maybe thousands of messages flying across the screen. So why would she stop and read this one if she isn't knowledgeable on this topic? And yes, why would her mod even bring it up? That is weird. Okay, so now you're starting to see, now it's spinning. So now it's spinning, right? And then so then I started seeing people's response to it. And it's like, politics, haha, I don't know, guys, I'm just a gamer girl. Thank you, Curb Stomper, for 15 subs. By the way, mods, ban the guy typing in Spanish, please. I mean, just funny. But this is a sentiment that I hold dearly. I'm not political Influencers piss me off. They value a follower count over having a spine. Ooh, I don't know anything about politics. You are a grown adult. Stop acting like you're too much of a small being to educate yourself about the reality outside of your bubble of luxury built upon pandering to illiterate porn addicts. Stop infantilizing or infantilizing, Jesus Christ, yourself to avoid making people uncomfortable and just admit that you don't give a fuck about human rights violations. Now, if you have seen my content, which most of you have, this is why you're here, I would assume. Or maybe you're just bored on a Saturday. Either way, thank you for joining. Like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. But in my most recent video, I talked about something I called the jelly roll defense. So tired of that argument because you know what it is? It's the, if you were paying attention to the Grammys, it's the jelly roll defense. We'll call it the jelly roll defense now, okay? It is when people are very obviously aligned with one political party or ideology that they know is unpopular. So when they're questioned on it, they just go, man, I just love everyone. Man, I just want to talk about, I'm so tired. So yeah, so in even shorter terms, right? The jelly roll defense is quite simply. Now, it's not something new, but I just said jelly roll because he just recently did it. Punished, shut up. Essentially, like I said, it's whenever the person being asked a question like, what are your thoughts about what's happening around the world? What's happening here? They want to do the whole, ooh, I don't know, man. I don't really follow politics. I'm not really educated on that. Like Jelly Roll himself did that. And then you see him handshaking and hugging like Donald Trump at like his fucking event. You know what I mean? You hear him hanging with like Christy Nome, pictured with President Donald Trump. Oh my God. Can I go to images instead? Yeah. Here he is with Christy Nome, right? Jelly Roll picture closer to Christy Nome and resurfaced snaps just days after seeing it. So it's like, and yes, this is obviously here when he was heavier, but it's impossible to be like, oh, I don't have opinions on this. I don't even pay attention to politics, right? I don't follow that. So with Emiru saying that she doesn't follow politics, right? That she's like, oh man, why would you need a streamer to validate you? It's super disingenuous.
Sure, I get people wanting big content creators to like say their opinions on like important topics. I get that, right?
She gets that.
Like, if you need a streamer who doesn't even know anything about politics to tell you about politics, you probably just need to like get off the internet. Like,
and see, and this is the framing is what I don't like about this, because what it really is saying is I have the luxury to not give a shit what's happening with the world around me because I'm protected by my finances, right? It won't affect me. I could do this job from any country. It doesn't really matter to me. As long as I have internet connection and I have money, I'm happy, I'm fine, right? That's what this screams to me. It's also kind of disingenuous to talk like this when like your BFFs with Asmongold and Tectone. Like you had a podcast with them. Like you, like the people she's associated with heavily are heavily political. So it's like, you can't be like, I don't do politics. I don't follow politics. Right. Like you can't use that excuse when as part of what I can only consider to be a sweeping job happening, you have Asmongold saying this.
Getting mad at Emmy for not wanting to comment on politics. I'll talk about that later on. I want to talk about it right now. But yeah, I did see that. It's just stupid. It's of course, right, the usual suspects, right? The same usual hostile, aggressive bullies on the internet.
By the way, the irony of him calling people hostile, aggressive bullies is also not missed upon me.
It's like you're either with us or you're against us. You know, you either have to tell us our opinion back to us, or we attack you as if you have the opposite one.
Again, the level of self-awareness he has is negative.
Which is bullshit. They're assholes. They're terrible people. And I don't know why anybody really... I don't see how people that do that can think that they're in the right at all. I don't. But it's very frustrating for me to see something like that, especially whenever it's someone who's not even involved. Like, it's basically like these are the people that say that well, nothing is politics if it's my opinion, but anything that you agree with isn't politics.
Yeah, so it's again, we don't have to. It's he's sweeping. Also, I'm sorry, I'm being mind blown about this shit. What do you? He's doing. He always does this though. It's what they do. They act like what they do is okay, but when other people either do what they do or they accuse what they do, then it's something like, "Oh, these guys are mean. These are bullies." Meanwhile, this is what he says about Emiru, his $1 million friend. But when it comes to other people.
This, but at the end of the day, I'm glad that more people are starting to speak up against it. And I'm glad that, I'm going to be honest, I'm glad that more creators are getting hate on social media for not supporting ICE and for making.
So doesn't want people being told their opinions. I think that's bad. They're bullies, but he likes it when people who don't agree with his opinion are getting hated on for not supporting ICE. I love a consistent king. Never change, Asmongold. You're probably going to eventually stumble upon this. If you do, never change, man. You're so right. You're so based. I love how consistent your moral fiber is. Your spine definitely isn't made of jelly, and they don't call you Asmongold behind your back at all. You're great. But these are people she associates with, right? And I find that hard, extremely hard to believe that she is unaware of the current politics happening. But the big point I want to make about this particular angle, and then I'll go further because you know how I do, is the fact that, God, he says such awful shit. But is the fact that all of this is just extremely disingenuous, because the question that was asked wasn't like, what are your opinions on like the current administration and how they're governing, right? This isn't a topic that you need to have extreme political knowledge on. And that's something I've been saying in my most recent stuff. Like if you guys, again, if you saw my last video, I specifically addressed that. I specifically was talking about how people, exactly, no one on his ideological antagonistic side even asked the question. It was his mod. It's not just a mod of Star Wars, it's his mod. It's Asmongold's mod, who also mods for her. So that's weird too. But when you are in this environment and you are hanging around these people, it's not asking for validation. And that was like, make it bigger. That was the framing that I hated. People weren't asking to be like, tell me my opinions, please. What they wanted was, hey, I have been supporting you for X amount of times. We are seeing the complete collapse of the fabric of our democratic society. We are having ICE agents literally, like Alex Preddy's killing was ruled a murder, a homicide. Homicide, right? That means he was murdered. They killed him. ICE agents literally killed the man, right? And so when you see that happening in your society, right? Your fans, your followers, they want to know, as a human being, not just my favorite entertainer, but as a human being, do you have the moral capacity to call this out? And when you're fence sitting on something as cut and dry as someone getting murdered by agents of the state, by agents of our government, they want to know, why is that the case? Why are you unable to just say, I think what ICE is doing is bad? Like, I'm not even saying you can say fuck ICE. I mean, I say all the time, but just to be like, you can be as PC as you want. I believe that the way that ICE is going about their duties is wrong, and that no one should be killed by police, or no one should be killed by an agency. Anything like that, even something close to that, they'd be happy. But the fact that you're trying to be like, why do you need a streamer to validate your opinions, is a shield. Because now we know where your opinions are. And I'm sorry, I hate the whole I'm a small bean thing. You're 28. You're almost 30, okay? You don't get to pull that card. You live in this country. It's insane for people to always try to use that defense. Like, oh, I don't really follow politics. Are you an idiot then? Like, what are we talking about? Like, legitimately, you can't get away with that. That's like if the IRS was coming after you because you haven't filed taxes in 30 years. Like, oh, well, I don't really pay attention to how the government works. Well, too bad. Learn. Oh, I don't vote because I don't really care about elections. What the fuck? Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Be an adult. Squid Tips has a point about people like Zach like to sit in the comfort of their homes and mock. Yes, exactly. They sit and they mock because, I mean, ultimately for Asmongold, he's afraid of the world. It's so obvious. He's afraid of the world. He's too scared to leave his fucking house. He constantly sits around and starts to make judgments about people, calling them parasites and evil. Meanwhile, he doesn't do anything with this part of his civic duty. He doesn't fucking vote. He doesn't do anything but foment anger and hatred. But to be like, oh, I'm just a small 29-year-old and I don't know how politics works. Ooh, how do taxes work? Hey guys, what's a tariff? Like, I am so tired of this just anti-intellectual fucking disease in this country. We have to stop babying adults. People are babying the goddamn president. People are babying ICE agents. People are babying all these adults who know right from wrong, who've made it to age 70 plus. Like, oh, well, you know, he just didn't mean it. Or I just don't follow politics, you guys. No one's asking you to know who like the prime minister of like fucking the UK is. No one's asking you to know about the political workings of like the diet in Japan. What they're asking you is, hey, people are getting murdered. How do you feel about that? Like imagine if your house was being burned down. There was a rampant arsonist going around and they're just like, oh my God. Like, okay, let's say you guys ask me a question like that, right? Like you're like, hey, TTBN Gaming, I subscribe to you on YouTube and I've joined your memberships. I don't have memberships yet. I joined you on Twitch. I followed you for years. I've been supporting you. And I just need to know, man, like there's been a super intense rash of arsons happening in the area. My house was burned down. My mom's house burned down. Like, just what are your thoughts on arson, you know? And I'm just like, sorry, guys. I don't know enough about fire. I don't really pay attention to fire like that. Like, why are you asking me, a guy on the internet, my opinions on people being burned alive in their homes? Like, what do you need my validation for? And it's like, what are you talking about? Are you a human being? Yes or no? People are getting murdered. Children are being literally stolen from their families, sometimes being used as bait against their family. And you're telling me you pay attention to none of it. You're on the internet. You're on Twitter. You see none of it. Your best friends are literally talking about it nonstop. And you know nothing. You know zero things. Like, what life is that, dude? Like, what? It's so insane. Speaking of VTubers, Asmongold doxed the VTuber on his stream and his fans are defending him for it. Listen, man, that's a sentence that I wish surprised me, but it doesn't. It doesn't, man. But that's what I'm talking about when people are babying people. And like I've stated multiple times, we have a problem with putting up with the worst people, these losers, legitimately losers. And we're putting on these pedestals. And because they are awful, terrible people with no moral fucking upbringings or upstanding qualities, they make it easy for people to not aspire to be better, right? That's why Asmongold gets all this protection and defense, even from the goddamn government. Because if he is upheld, then what they want to do will be easier to digest. Because there won't be people with a large influence fighting against it. Because they can just sick their fucking hordes against people, right? I still get it. People come and say, oh, I'm obsessed with him because of my Twitter, which I'm like, do you not know how Twitter works? You can type in any word in anyone's fucking thing and it goes back forever, right? But I'm like, okay, if the worst you have against me is that I spoke about him on Twitter, awesome. He has condoned the murder of entire groups of people. He has condoned genocide. He uses damn near stochastic terrorism on a day-to-day basis. He doxes people, from what I'm just being told. He does awful, terrible shit. But I'm bad and cringe and awful because I talk about how much I don't like that guy. A guy who has, unfortunately, a lot of power on this space. I'm the problem. Meanwhile, he's a big content creator and he picks on creators like Naira because they're trans on the internet, right? But like this is the dichotomy they've created where those people should be protected, not marginalized communities, not people who don't really have much, right? Not even in the creative space, like smaller creators. Nah, fuck them. They're never going to succeed because they only have 200 followers. But this guy with millions of subscribers and millions of dollars who lives a life that he will never have to worry about anything ever again financially, who actively uses that wealth and that power to oppress other people, whether through, again, sending his rampant racist right-wing audience towards them and targeting them. Nah, he's cool because he sits in the smelly house with a white t-shirt. He's not like that dirty socialist Hassan who actually goes out into the streets and puts his money where his mouth is. Nah, that guy's fake. My dude is the guy who sits in this family house that he could easily fix with a blink of an eye, refuses to do so, lives in squalor, wears the same 3 shirts every day, but barely bathes, and is just ranting on the internet about how much he hates minorities. That's a cool, regular dude. Like, it makes you wonder what it will take for Emiru's exit. She's not going to say anything. These people aren't going to say anything unless it fucks up the bag. That's it. That's the whole thing. These people are only motivated by money. And again, all of this, I know I kind of got off topic, but like all of this plays into what's happening right now, where you have people who are seeing what happens when you are poor and you are a minority in this country, and they're seeing it across the entire planet, where they are targeting the most vulnerable people. And then people who are trying to protect them, they'll kill them. They will kill them. And then you have your entertainers who, guess what? I'm sorry. They also live in this world. They don't live in a special bubble where entertainers are exempt from the horrors of reality, okay? They should have an opinion on things like this because this is a human situation. This isn't like, again, oh, who has the best economic policies? I don't know. I don't know who in particular has the best economic policies. But if you were to ask me, hey, do you think the police should kill people? I'm not going to be like, oh, that's a hard topic because, I'm not educated on the criminal justice system. I mean, personally, I am. I have a degree in that. But it's like, I'm not educated to know how this works. It's like, no, I don't think the police should be killing people. And if you're afraid to say the most lukewarm statements like Nazis bad, ISIS bad, then you shouldn't have an audience. I'm so sorry. Actually, not sorry. Because what you're saying is the audience that you've cultivated over however many months or weeks or years or whatever are full of bad people. But you need their money. So you're going to be like, no, it's okay. It's fine. I'm just going to ignore them and be like, oof, I don't want to piss off the racists who pay me money. So I'm going to just say, why do you want to hear my opinion? It's dumb. They want to hear your opinion because you're a fucking influencer. Like, goddamn. Yeah, I've heard ICE hasn't been paid for months, and I love it. Yeah, trying to do the whole, I'm just a dumb hillbilly. Like, no, that don't work. Hillbilly, right? That dog don't hunt no more, though. You can't. Exactly. You don't have to know. It's like when people talk about, oh, the situation in the Middle East is really complicated. It's actually not. It's really not. And it might sound like I'm being ignorant, but if you break it down at its core, there was one side doing genocide. Like that's the core of it. This isn't a land, like, oh, it's a land dispute. It's one side doing genocide. When shit gets that simplistic and you're still like, oh, I don't know. It's like, so either you were benefiting from this situation or you are truly terminally stupid. Like, that's it. That's it. Exactly. If you have a platform, I don't care. Listen, my platform is microscopic compared to the people I'm talking about, right? But you do have a duty to utilize your platform in responsible ways. It's so dumb to me, like, oh, well, it's politics. I don't care about politics. Politics care about you? People are like, oh, I don't care about politics. I don't care about politics. And then they voted for Trump. You know what the first thing they looked up? What's a tariff? Oh, so now you fucking care. Now you care. This is one of my goats. This is Denim's talking about the situation.
When did people on the right get so soy? You're smearing and defaming by calling someone a chud. No, it tells me everything I need to know about the character of someone who talks about things this way. I don't know why this, I mean, it's intentional ignorance, but that's okay. It tells me everything I need to know about this person. If you are fine with commenting on things you don't know about when it benefits you, when you know your audience will like you talking about it, that's one thing. But then for you to use an opportunity or ignore an opportunity where you...
That's why I support social media ban before 15. 10-year-old kids fall into Asmongold pipeline and become like this. You know what, though? I still can't support the ban because there's also children who get educated about a multitude of topics that they won't be able to have access to where they're from. Ultimately, I think this responsibility still relies on the parents, which may be conservative of me, but I do think in this instance, yeah, parents should be involved. Like, if your kid is like, hey, mom, I think the great replacement theory is real and cool, you should be like, okay, Timmy, we're going to put you in re-education camps and we're going to get rid of your internet.
You could talk about something maybe your audience doesn't.
Because then what also happens too is, let's say they're exposed to the internet years later, right? Where the rest of the world, that we've been online for the entire time, they're going to have no fucking idea how any of this shit operates. They're going to be falling for AI shit left and right or at higher clips. They're going to be just completely left in the dust. I think there's too many factors to consider by just having we'll just ban it. We'll just get rid of it for children.
Like it, maybe you could educate them on it a little bit, but you choose not to. You're just siding with whatever your chud or chudette audience wants to hear.
Exactly.
She's right when she says most streamers are not qualified to talk about politics. Okay, here's the thing, dude. You actually don't have to be qualified to talk about politics to say fuck ICE. It's not that hard of a concept.
Exactly.
You know who doesn't do political content? Cutie Cinderella. Cutie Cinderella literally never does political content. And even she's capable of saying fuck ICE. What about Cinna? You don't have to be a political creator to recognize that it's not hard to say fuck ICE.
And I will say on top of that, it's so funny when people use that excuse because they will also then tune into fucking Asmongold and take his opinions about world politics seriously. This guy's a WoW streamer. Why is he allowed to voice unendingly about politics and be taken seriously? But then when someone's like, hey, can you tell me your thoughts on ICE? It's like, why do you want to learn about politics from a streamer? I'm not capable of answering these questions. I don't do politics. Oh, my mistake. Let me go tune in to watch a fucking Hutch make the 1 millionth political mistake. Like people are three-dimensional beings. It's so stupid now, especially okay, I know this is only a 2-minute video, but I'm going to make a point. It's going to be a little bit off topic, but I think it's still valid here, okay? This is like people saying wrestling's real, and when they find out it's not real, they're like, their whole world view is shattered. When I was 10 and I found out that wrestling was fake, I stopped watching wrestling for 10 years. Not because of I didn't have a 10-year-old grudge against wrestling, but I fell out of it. I got into more the different things, right? But now I've gotten back somewhat into wrestling, and I appreciate it more because these people are real people. They're three-dimensional, so they're putting on an act, sure, but they also have real opinions about shit. AEW just recently, the whole crowd chanted "fuck ICE." Do you think the people in the crowd are all political commentators? You think the people
Last night on AEW Dynamite, there was a very powerful moment during the main event that saw Brody King versus MJF. But the moment came when the Las Vegas crowd started heavily chanting "fuck ICE."
Do you think the people in that crowd were political commentators? Do you think the people in that crowd were so tapped into the ongoings of the legislative branches of our government? Or do you think they are normal people at a wrestling event who were the conditions and the situations happening outside due mostly in part by this administration through the hands of ICE is extremely fucked up, and I'm voicing my displeasure as a regular person? When someone says, oh, I'm not qualified to say that These are people who are most likely drunk and are still aware enough to be like, fuck ICE, actually. So that's why I like the whole I'm not educated shit doesn't fly. I'm not asking you to explain how we got ICE to begin with. Answer is simple. This is a response to 9/11 after the DHS was founded, right? But I'm not asking you to talk about like what bills were passed in order to get ICE funded, or are you going to call your senator to put pressure on the to Congress to not pass these bills? No one's asking that. Yes, it's basic empathy. People are asking you as a human being. You can't say you don't have a reaction to a very human situation, because then what are you saying? You know what I mean? Like if someone was like, hey, do you use math? Do you do math? And your response was, I don't really follow numbers like that. Like numbers aren't my thing. It's like, do you do math? No. Do you know 2 + 2? Yeah, it's 4. She got asked 2 + 2 and she says, why do I know about numbers? I'm an entertainer. Why do I know about numbers? Please, Emiru, what's 2 + 2? Why are you guys, I'm not a mathematician, you guys. I didn't study numbers. You don't come here for numbers, right? You came here because truthfully, to be completely honest, I'm not being mean, I have no idea what Emiru's content is. Like I really don't. Contrary to what people think, I don't follow these people like that. But even so, you're being asked at this situation, a normal question.
And I don't know if you know this. If you're an adult in this country, you should be the minimal amount invested in politics.
Yes.
Because you live here. There's this weird idea in America especially where like you can just be an adult and be like, oh, I don't care about politics. What?
Also, the people who say that shit are the ones who have the worst kinds of politics. If you have ever, and if there's any, I don't know if there's any women watching this. Well, I think at least there's one of my friends. But if you have ever done online dating, you probably understand this concept very, very well. On most dating sites, they let you to list your like what you're looking for, and then like political affiliation. At least like on Hinge, they let you do that. I'm a woman. Okay, thank you. Clap for the one woman. Thank you. My my percentages are slowly but surely going up with women online. But you have the option to look at someone's political leanings, right? Like I know, especially on Hinge, it's like you can have someone be like moderate. They can be, oh, I have 2 whole women in here. Hell fucking yeah. New sub, hell yeah. So a lot of men, what they'll do is they'll lie. I don't know if you guys know this, but sometimes men lie. But they'll lie about their political leanings because they know their political leanings. They know they're fucking Republican, they're conservative, they're moderates, whatever, right? But they know that's extremely unpopular. So what did they say? I'm apolitical. What did they say? I don't really pay attention. I don't really do this. They are 100% aware that their policies and their belief systems are abhorrent, and that will prevent them from getting with a woman. So they'll lie. They'll say they're apolitical. They don't really follow politics. But then you have a 10-second conversation with them, and you know exactly where they lie on things.
If you're above the age of 18, you should care about politics in your.
Well, hold on. You live in Turkey. America legit became Turkifying. Don't let Trump take another turn. I mean, listen. If the Democrats actually grow a spine, it'll be an easy one. But if they don't, which is looking more and more likely, I don't know, man. Anytime I hear variation, I'm not into politics, I know they're right winger. I love to troll them by asking questions, seeing them squirm. Exactly. And my thing is too is stand 10 toes down. If you truly believe this shit, then why are you afraid to admit it? Like, I don't think I've made any fucking compunctions about where I'm leaning. Oh, hey, thank you for the follow. I don't think I've made any sort of, I think everyone here knows where I lean. I think everyone here knows my political beliefs. I've never shied away from that because I believe what I'm talking about. These people either don't or are too afraid, which to me is one and the same. You can't be so raw about this shit and then I have to pretend I'm not conservative to get a girlfriend. Okay, so what you're telling me is that A, you have zero riz, and B, your convictions are so fickle that at the drop of the hat, when it's most convenient, you will turn them off. That's wild to me.
Fucking country. You don't get to be like, well, I don't agree with this whole taxes thing, so I'm just not going to pay for it. You can't say like, well, I'm just not going to care about all this politics stuff. This is by far like the, I think, dumbest American quality. Saying I'm not into politics. When did people on the right get so...
My goat Diddums once again speaking truth. And but you know what? I will say, I love the fact that people, like I've been saying before a while now, there has been such a shift, even in this space, where people are like, I'm tired of this shit. Approaching your 30s and not knowing anything about politics when you're living in the country currently being affected by current events involving ICE is embarrassing. And if you pretend to not have a political stance so you don't lose your racist viewer base, speak on it. That's even more embarrassing. People don't ask you for a political opinion because they think, thank you guys for another follow. But people don't ask your political opinion because they think you can teach them. They're asking so they can decide if they want to continue to support you based on your morals. I'm not saying everyone is required to speak up, but if you are truly apolitical, then just shut the fuck up and don't speak up in the first place. Exactly. I don't feel it's dumb to be apolitical, especially global, national politics, or state level. No, I think I gotta disagree with them there, Wizard. I think it is dumb. Because, again, I think people again keep looking at politics as if like this huge thing. Like, again, I am politically aware, but I'm politically aware about things within my purview. Like I don't know what's happening in let's say like Australia at the moment, right? I don't know what's happening like all over the world. But like on a global level, I'm aware of some things because they affect other things. And on a national level, you have to be aware of that shit. I live in this country. And on a state level, depending on the state, yeah, I have to be aware of this shit. Right? Being unaware of something has never been beneficial to anybody, ever. It's aware. It's like, it's no different to me than like people trying to promote abstinence, right? Like, people are going to have sex. Well, some people aren't, but like people are going to have sex. So I would rather they know what they're getting into than be like, just don't talk about it. They won't do it if we don't talk about it. If I just go through life and not worry about politics, then I'm fine. And then you get a job and you're like, hey, how come I'm paying so much in taxes, but I'm not seeing anything in return? Politics. But bringing it back to like the gaming space, right? You have these people who are trying to tell you, do not want better. Don't ask better from anybody. Let them be shitty. Let them be bottom of the barrel. It's actually bad of you to ask more of them. How dare you ask your entertainer that you, the audience, have actually made a millionaire? How dare you ask them their opinion on something? You should have never asked them that. Which to me, again, is the strangest shit, because if there's any industry that should be more beholden to the wants of their audience, for better, mostly for worse, it is influencers. It is content creators. Content creators aren't shit without their audience. Like, more so than any other job. If you're an actor, you don't really give a fuck about your audience. Your audience doesn't pay you. You got paid by the studio. The studio wants to recoup their money by the audience. The studio should care, right? They greenlit or greenlight projects that will make them money. The actors get paid up front, and then some have a deal where, depending on where it gets on box office, they get a cut, right? But that's getting into minutia. But I'm a content creator on the internet, right? My content only exists in the form that it does because people have given me a chance. People have watched my videos. People have randomly and thankfully subscribed to my Twitch. Not saying you have to, but if you want to, you can probably use your Amazon Prime and just subscribe to it. It's no big deal. But like, you are giving me money. Even by just watching my YouTube videos because of AdSense, you're giving me money. So I should be like, hey, the people giving me money, you want to know my opinion on things? Well, you are giving me money. So I should, tell you my opinion on things. Exactly though. They cultivate these audiences that, and I've said this for such a long time now. They cultivate audiences that make them feel good. That is the honest truth. They cultivate, and typically what it is they reach the lowest common denominator and try to make them feel important, so then they'll give them money. That's it. Because I promise you, like, did you guys see that oh my god, I can't even talk about him now. Did you guys see that clavicular clip? I hate his name. Where he runs into like his audience and he's like repulsed by them.
Saw my album?
Yeah, I got you,
Big
man.
fan, man.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, bro, we've been on your ass since the moment you were streaming, since November.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
You think we can take a stream photo?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
I bet. All right, on the count of 3. Nigga, Hail Hitler. 3, 2, 1. Nigga, Hail Hitler.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
love you, Cloud. What do you have?
Bro.
Honestly, he wasn't supposed to say that. But,
That's so cringe, bro.
yeah. Yo, but
That's so cringe, bro. Do you want to know why that guy said that? Hail Hitler chanted in Miami Beach nightclub as influencers celebrate Nazi ideology. Who's this person? Who's this guy? Whomst is him? These people are afraid to meet their own audience because they know that they have pandered to the most unhinged people. They know that because these losers, their audiences, right? Their audience members, these losers have nothing going for them. They were able to capitalize on that. But now when they meet them in public, it's, oh, dude, that's so cringe. I only do this for money. Please don't associate me with these things. They would invite Asmongold, but his roast posse would overcrowd the limo. But same, right, Asmongold has the same issue. These people will never meet their audience because when they do, this is what happens. I also remember this happening. Do you guys remember? God damn, I have such brain rot from doing this shit. Do you guys remember when Sneeko met his audience? Those little kids? And the little kids were being misogynistic about women?
Fuck the woman! Fuck the woman!
What? No, wait. We love women. We love women. We love women.
But not like transgenders.
Yes, sir. We love everybody. No.
All gays should die.
Yeah, merch. Preach. What have I done?
Can I get in the video? Fucking talk. Can I get in the video?
Yeah. Talk to him.
Yo, what's up?
If my audience was full of prepubescent teenage boys, I would kill myself in Minecraft in front of them. Like, but again, these are the people. This is the audience that they cultivate. So it doesn't surprise me that anytime I say something or another like left-leaning or even a neutral creator says something about these guys, they get flooded with a bunch of hate comments, right? Because their chat is the guy who says Hail Hitler and the N-word, which I can say. And then it's 12-year-olds. Like that's who that's who their audience is reaching. But they don't care about the effects of what they're doing because they can make the bag. That's it. That's all they've ever cared about. Again, if my audience members, I tell you what, this is a true story. I'm not lying, hand to God, whatever, right? I went to New York Comic Con last year. Someone who watches my content, maybe a fan of mine, right? Watched my content, was an adult, came up to me and said, thank you for doing what you're doing. I shit you not. That happened to me also at Summer Games Fest last year. Someone recognized me. And they came up to me and said, thank you. Guys, and another adult. I don't fear my audience, however how small, right? I don't fear them coming up to me and saying some outlandish wild shit. The most they might say is like parrying sucks, and I will break their kneecaps if they do that in my face. But I don't fear that. I don't fear me talking about created like an Asmon type or whatever, and that my audience is gonna go and try to attack other people. I'm making a little bit of waves, you know. But like I don't fear that because I know the content that I put out, the only negative response I can get that's like crazy would be most likely from the creators I'm talking about or the people I'm discussing or the topics I'm talking about, but not from my audience. I'd feel comfortable if I had to meet up with like the people who are my fans. But if you ever saw me around children, like what? Like that's a whole other host of issues. But this is who they go after. This is why they get like a ton of views and shit, because most of the people who are watching them are either children or losers. Every time. And then you look at the content creator that they're obsessed with. It's like, of course, this is the audience who comes to you.